Welcome to episode 3 of the CGC Podcast. I'm your host, CGC, and as with me as always is Kal 313. Say hi to
Hey,
the
hey,
people, Kal.
audio, good neighbors.
All right. What's on the slate for today, man?
All right, let's start with some thoughts and reactions. Naming conventions for fighting games. Project L has been announced as 2XKO, which, I want to get your thoughts and impressions on what you saw with the trailer and the name itself.
Well, I believe that's a 2.5D game, right? Where the characters are three-dimensional, but the fighting happens on a two-dimensional plane.
hmm
Um,
hmm
it looks like she's using the same kind of texture mapping as like the Guilty Gear, Stride games, or DNF Duel, or the Dragon Ball. Was it Dragon Ball Z? I forget the name of it.
The fighters, yeah.
Yeah, the Dragon Ball
Yeah,
Z
the
Fighters or
Arxis,
Fighters
yeah.
Z. Um, it looks fine to me. Like maybe 10 years ago, I would have been amazed by that, but like I'm so used to seeing that style of game. It does look fluid, and the art is quite good. It's going to come down to the fighting. As far as the name, I think it's supposed to be Double Knockout, 2XKO, Double
hmm
Knockout. And that's kind of like the the general consensus is that's what is what that's supposed to be intended as, is Double Knockout. But uh, I mean, 2XKO is fine. Everybody's making a big deal about the naming convention. It's like it's not going to be on store shelves. This is clearly going to be a downloaded only game. So
yeah.
I mean, uh, as long as people know what it is and know that it exists, I think it'll be fine.
Oh yeah, yeah. I feel like it's a very esports name,
Mm-hmm.
especially compared to the other Riot properties like Mage Seeker or Arcane or Ruin
Mm-hmm.
King. The games at least. So taking Arcane out the mix, like they tend to have like a chapter. I mean, they tend to have almost like a novel style name. This
Yeah,
one is
it's
definitely kind of esportsy, which I don't mind. Fighting games have always had esportsy names. Like Street Fighter's bare bones as you can get, street and fighting.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
it
yeah,
and then it's a tag game, right? It's two v
yep,
two. So
yep,
yeah, double knockout. You have to knock out two people. I get
yep,
it.
yep, yep. It's also a lot easier to say than Under Night and Birth, too. Latest
Yeah.
ESC Super Cycle 510.
There's games with more complicated names that have not
Yeah,
done well. So I don't know what
or done
like
well. I
it.
believe Unlike does well for its budget.
Yeah, it does well for, but it's like
Yeah.
there's games with more intricate names that
Oh yeah.
people aren't really
Never
on.
touched.
Like under night. What are you? How you say that again?
Under Night in Birth.
Under Night in Birth is not as popular as Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, so it's like 2XKO.
Nah,
I think it'll be fine as long as it's an
yeah.
actually good game. I think we're okay.
Yeah. At least we're beyond the '90s when all the fighting games came out and they actually had fighting in the name or fight outside of
Or or
Jet
Extreme.
Heroes.
Remember the
Yeah,
Extreme period where
Extreme.
everything was extreme something?
Oh yeah, Mortal
Dear
Kombat,
Lord.
Killer Instinct. I like those though.
Yeah.
I like the ones that sound like an announcer's going to have fun when he says something.
Right.
So those are my favorite names. But as long as we're not Virtual Fighter, this fighter, that fighter, we even
Yeah.
had a them's fighting hers, and you're right about great names like Omen of Sorrow is an amazing name, but no one played that game.
No one plays it. And that's a really cool game too. Is like
Yeah,
power bombs with Frankenstein and
yeah.
spinning power drives and stuff. No one plays it though. No one.
Uh,
Few people get that reference, but
oh yeah. Yeah. Better than fighting EX Layer. So
yeah.
all right. Let's stay on the fighting game train here. A couple of trailers. So 2B actually dropped for Grand Blue. You can play her. I haven't had a chance to test her out in the lab yet, but I'm hoping that she's somebody that can deal with Nier. What are your thoughts on the Ed trailer for Street Fighter and the Peacemaker trailer for MK1?
So the Ed trailer, I've only seen a bit of, but I've actually seen gameplay of Ed. He looks really cool. I think I saw Justin Wong playing with him.
Okay.
And if you're not familiar with the fighting games or fighting game community, Justin Wong is considered a veritable legend in that field. And yeah, he made him look, interesting. Ed's one of the characters in Street Fighter V. I actually put a little bit of time in. I really didn't play that game much. I wasn't a big fan of it,
Okay.
but the little I did play, a lot of time I spent playing with Ed. He's pretty cool. He's in Street Fighter V, at least, he was very simple because a lot of his moves are like double button combos, things of that nature. And then you could, go ahead and start layering, the snare moves or whatever with extra attacks. Really simple gameplay style, hard to master. And he looks like he's going to be cheap. He looks like he's going to. I'm just straight to it. He looks like they're going to have to nerf him.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. From what I understand, DJ's top tier in that game. I haven't put too much time in it. DJ, but I don't even know what tiers is because honestly, and I'll get to a Peacemaker in a second. But like I've honestly been watching Snake Eyes videos,
Oh
and
man.
I keep hearing that Zangief is lower tier. I can't tell with that guy. Like
Yeah.
his patience and his like ability to know when he can attack, and I guess he just understands when he can swing back when it's his turn, and it's like he doesn't seem to worry about being behind on damage because he knows Zangief can get it back. That's a whole nother video altogether. I go to tangent. Snake Eyes is a brilliant Street Fighter player,
Yeah,
and he
he's up
plays
on
one of my
one.
favorite characters. Yeah, he plays one of my favorite characters. As far as uh the Peacemaker trailer, John Cena's performance, the small glimpses of it that I've seen, is brilliant. He he pretty much
Yeah.
does exactly what he is on the show. You could tell he leaned into it. I honestly think like when all is said and done, John Cena might actually be able to compete between himself and Batista as my favorite wrestlers turned actors.
Over the Rock, huh?
Uh, the Rock's the Rock and everything, right? Kind of like Will Smith.
Really?
Like, but yeah, Batista and John Cena, like John Cena's kind of like that too, where he's John Cena and everything, but Batista is clearing the way right now, the better actor of the two. But like John Cena's put on a couple performances, especially in the show for Peacemaker, that
Yeah,
make
yeah.
you like look at him and say, okay, this guy might have something, you know.
I I would still give it to The Rock just because of Ballers. Like I felt like he was running on a totally different level
Yeah,
in
you
that
know what?
long
I
form
forget about their
series.
project sometimes. I forget
Yeah,
about their
that was
project.
really good.
Yeah, it was really good. But Batista's
Batista's
solid,
funny.
man. Batista's
Batista's so
projects.
good.
Well,
Yeah.
his some of his projects haven't been like, a lot of people know him for Tracks of Destroy, but Batista's
Oh.
done a couple of movies where
Mm.
he had to be emotional, and for him usually being a big guy who just runs through walls and throws people, he pulls it off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The M Night Shyamalan one was pretty solid, man. I like
yeah,
that.
he's Batista's solid, man. He's good.
We'll see what Dolph Ziggler does.
Yeah,
Yeah, now that he's released, and if he was that hard working in the E for what, like 20 years,
yeah,
doing stand up, he should be able to transition over.
yeah.
All right. Did you get to catch any of Capcom Cup?
I watched a little of it. So the only thing I can say about that, it seems like a lot of guys who already are like qualified were in that tournament. I don't know if there's money on the line for each appearance or if they were just trolling. But
Uh, th- Before Capcom Cup, yeah, people were trying to make money at the tournament level and earn their qualification spots, and the ones who were qualified practice gatekeeping.
Ah,
Whatever strategy they need. I mean, it's $1 million on the line, so
oh yeah. Well,
yeah,
there's your motivation right there. I
yeah,
get it.
yeah. Yep. That's a lot.
It's
If you
a
guys get a
lot.
chance, if you guys get a chance, watch Rob TV's kind of like intro for it. It's really awesome for like the $1 million payout. I thought it was pretty cool. Had him in the low and everything. But yeah, some really good stuff. Uh, just watching, not really rooting for anybody yet because there's so many different people in the pools and the way it plays out. But I am loving all the Chun Li work that I'm seeing, and I hope Capcom is watching because you're not seeing a lot of modern players, which means that you guys have to. I know some of people who may listen to this may disagree, but you got to get rid of the damage cap for modern. You already lose mix,
Is
huge
that
amounts
a
of damage.
is that a gameplay thing or is that a respect thing?
Yes.
Because I mean, I figure from a lot of the more core players,
Hmm.
they're gonna look at modern control guys kind of side eyed.
They
If
can,
they,
but it'll only be in Street Fighter, right? Because they can't look at them sidewise in Grand Blue, DNF, Power
I
Rangers,
mean, would
Tekken.
somebody that's using modern even enter any of those other tournaments where execution, like
Oh yeah.
I suppose there's players that exist that like, man, I really don't feel like doing that in Street Fighter, but I don't know. That might be more of a community will shun me type of thing
Nah,
than a.
Hatani. I think Hatani and a lot of the guys who the modern gods that came out really early, plus what Jalen has been doing, I think they really helped change the narrative on that. It's just
Okay,
you got to do
you
more.
would know
You
better than
have
me,
to do
but
more. Yeah,
I
I
just
think the problem is you have to do more, and if everybody else normalize the damage, they should too. If you want people to continue to play who want to play modern, if you want everybody to switch over to classic, right, which is not named modern, um, you
I
want people
I
to
think
switch back to yeah.
I think maybe Capcom kind of put that out as more of a thing to get people. So the problem with fighting games, in particular, Japanese fighting games across the board, is the execution
Yep.
and
Legacy knowledge too.
the
Attaching.
legacy knowledge. And I think for all intents and purposes, and I could be wrong about this. I don't claim to be a fighting game connoisseur or anything, but I think the biggest problem um with Japanese fighting games and the like is that oftentimes you'll get people who stop playing it because they don't want to deal with half circles and double 360s and stuff like that. And I believe that's what that casual mode was put in for, not
Yep.
so that the game could be taken seriously, but so that people who don't intend to take it that seriously can still have a reason to play it, right? But
Well, it's
I
for multiple
just
reasons, right? It's
I
so
didn't
it,
see those people
that's
being in tournaments.
oh yeah, you gotta watch. You gotta watch. This is in the big cup. A lot of them haven't shown up, but for Evo, for the first couple of tournaments, like Atani had an amazing run. Like he was one of the biggest. Like he's the one that really let people know understand how Chun Li with one button supers worked. You know what I mean?
Okay.
um,
Like I say, like I said,
yeah.
I'm not an expert on it.
Oh yeah.
I know that 2XKO, formerly Project L, is going to
Oh,
have
simple
similar
input.
kind of controls,
Yep.
but it like again, that's the whole game is based around what can you do with the tools we give you, not what is your execution, and then
Yep.
what Street Fighter still holding on to the execution first, and then what can you do with the moves instead of just what can you do with the moves. I think that's going to be a hard nut to crack, but
Well,
I could be
they've
wrong.
already cracked it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they've already cracked it, and they got to do what their peers are doing. Like EA just updated their commitment to accessibility and pushing accessibility options throughout all their game franchises now. So you got to keep up. You can't you can't be the one with the hard to enter instructions if no one else has them.
You better
At
tell
least give them an option.
SNK about that because
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
don't.
The hyper
If
jumps,
anybody needs a casual mode, it's
yeah.
SNK games.
And they have it. They even have auto combos in King of Fighters. It's just the high.
They got
It's
press
the short
one button
jumping.
3 times. It's those directions, bro. That's
Yeah,
and
it's
them
short
supers.
hops. I think it's short hops.
We'll
Short
see
hops
how Rock
are.
Howard's ultimate is in Mark of the Wolves too, because
Oh
oh
yeah.
boy,
Oh yeah. The pretzel.
yeah.
The geese pretzel.
I mean, only thing
uh,
worse than that was like Ivy's Whip Super and Soul Calibur, and I think even that was easier to pull off. But at
oh
any
yeah.
rate,
All right. So going back to EA, they games industry biz. We go to them a lot. This one by Jeffrey Rousseau, staff writer, reports that EA adds more patents to its accessibility pledge, um, including automatic player control takeover
hmm.
and route navigation system, which I love. Elden Ring fans. Um, the sequel slash DLC is coming out. I know folks are happy for that. But yeah, what do you think about just route navigation being considered a accessibility option game
Now,
wide?
would this be like the GPS in like
Mm-hmm.
Red Dead or Grand Theft Auto or something like that, or is this just like
Maybe even the fair
automatically making the character walk in a particular direction?
could be all could be the ferry that tells you where to go. The light beam or whatever.
Right. So
It's all inclusive in that kind of
okay,
context.
I don't have a problem with it at all. At the end of the day, anybody that complains about these features, even like casual controls, these are things you don't have to use. Like, and I'm kind of going to go back to what I was saying earlier about the fight game stuff. I don't understand the pushback on it because at the end of the day, if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. And Capcom was nice enough, and we'll see how long that lasts, to at least say, well, if they're going to use simpler controls, then they have weaker damage. So I never have a problem with corporations and companies making it easier for people to play their games. At the end of the
Yes.
day, these are businesses, and the goal is to make as much money as possible, which means getting more people to play your games and making it easier for more people to play and enjoy your games and your products. So I don't see a problem with this. I don't get me wrong. I love like Elden Ring and I'm not so much a fan of Dark Souls, but I love Elden Ring. I love Lies of P. I like games that say, yeah, just go out there and die and learn as you die. I don't like Scorn, but that's for other reasons. I think that game was kind of just really boring. But
I've never
I don't.
booted it up.
I don't necessarily require a game that needs to hold my hand, but I understand that for some people, not only are these things necessary for them to get in the game, but for some people, it's necessary just for them to be able to play the game. I love the fact that I believe there was a gentleman that was vision impaired that was playing Street Fighter
Oh yeah,
a
yeah.
couple of tournaments ago, and he actually did pretty
And Mortal
well.
Kombat. Yeah,
And Mortal
Mortal
Kombat,
Kombat.
I love the fact that companies are putting stuff in there like that because now everybody has a chance to fight. I believe Forza Motorsport has some of the best of there. I think they won an award for it because you
Oh yeah,
can
yeah.
drive in that game and not be able to see, and that's
Microsoft
really cool.
Microsoft leads the industry on that, especially with the adaptive controller.
Yeah,
Here's
Sony's is pretty good too, from what I understand.
here's one. I have to look at more of their information, but here's one part about the EA patent that I want to ask you about.
Shoot,
Animated and personalized coach for video games. Uh, Through an animated and personalized coach, players receive in-game and out-of-game insights to improve their performance. So, like an AI coach, what is your thoughts on that?
um, it's just the evolution of a training mode. I
Yeah.
think the first huge step I saw in training mode outside of going here, look at a move list, execute move list, like Tekken kind of stepped forward when you could hit a button to see what the move was supposed to look like and how it's supposed to be executed. And then Virtua Fighter the Virtua Fighter 4 or 5, I think, went a step further by showing you what combos worked on what characters and so on and so forth, and then how to execute them. And then, of course, you always had Zelda when they threw in Navi and Zelda 64. She would tell you where to go or point out things of interest. So having an AI companion, I actually, now that I think about it, Rainbow Six had a little, like, it wasn't an AI companion or anything, but there was like a section you could go to on the game Rainbow Six Siege, and it would tell you what your tendencies were, what you were doing. You know, they would throw up like a tip video for the character you tended to play more. So I mean, yeah, this is a natural evolution of how to get good, and the game helping you get good. You know, so I again, I don't have a problem with any company saying, you know, we don't want you to feel like you're on an island. We want you to feel like you're actually getting better at this game. So
All right, there you have it, folks. CGC recommends you guys all go out and buy the Ninja virtual Fortnite uh, tutorial AI
excuse me,
companion.
what? No. No offense to Ninja or Fortnite. I actually enjoy Fortnite and I watch his content, but I'm not recommending you do anything
he, he
because you
says,
that I don't think that guy's gonna be able to help anybody be as good as him in Fortnite. I mean,
all right.
he's pretty good. There's guys out there on his level, but he's pretty good. So
All right. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. Uh, Fallout trailer, Borderlands trailer. So video game related. Did you get to see them? What are your thoughts?
I saw both trailers. I saw the Fallout trailer. Was it late last month or middle of last month? And I saw the Borderlands trailer in the middle of this week. I was impressed by the Fallout trailer. It definitely looks like it's going to have some comedic bits. I don't know how much of the dark humor. The problem with these particular shows, right, is that if you've played the games, the main antagonists are human beings, obviously, but there's also these wild and wicked creatures in them. And with TV shows, not so much with movies, but definitely with TV shows, you start getting into budgets. Like Fallout will work for me. They already got Walter Goggins, who's a great actor, great character
Mm-hmm.
actor. If they can get a Deathclaw in there, I'm good. You know, because these these writers have apparently played some of the games.
Yeah.
I believe, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but they've played some of the games. Unlike the Halo team, who and apparently Halo just did an episode about Reach. I got to catch up with season 2 of that. But yeah, Fallout looks good, man. I believe it's coming this April, and it's when it comes to Borderlands. Uh, I mean, the cast sounds strong. You got Kate Blanchett, I
Yeah.
believe, and
Yep.
Jack
Yep.
Black's playing
Kevin
a
Hart.
goofy robot, which is perfect for him. He's I think he's gonna knock that character out of the park. Kevin Hart's playing Roland,
Yeah. I dig it. I dig
the
it.
super serious soldier. I don't know if that's gonna work, but you know what? Kevin Hart surprised me before, so
Yeah. He has range.
I'm willing to let it rock. And it's a movie. I'm pretty sure it has a decent budget. And also, as a side note to that, Randy Pritchford, the president of Gearbox, creators of Borderlands, is hyping up something he is claiming to be the best thing they've ever made. It could be Borderlands 4. It could be Borderlands MMO Lite. I don't know what it's going to be, but he's hyping it up. And
Oh yeah.
you know, look, man, I'm willing to watch the Fallout TV show on Amazon Prime, and I'm willing to watch the Borderlands movie when it comes to streaming services. I don't know if I'm going to pay money to go see that at the theater, but I'll
Oh yeah.
definitely catch it. That's not something that I think is. I mean, and no knock on that movie. I haven't gone to the theater to see much recently. I've pretty much waited for it to come out on the streaming services. They don't stay in theaters long anyway, so That's my feelings. They both look watchable.
Oh
I'm more
yeah.
excited for Fallout than I am Borderlands, though. Obviously,
So if I had watched these trailers before watching Twisted Metal, I would have thought, meh. But after watching Twisted Metal and
such a
seeing
good
what
show.
they, oh,
Such a
it's
good show.
such
So
a
well
good show
executed.
for a
Way
budget
better than I thought
that's
it was going to be.
way less than either of these shows we're kind of working with. I'm down. I'm down to watch them both, man. I think that I'm, Blanchett fan. I think her and Bassett are like the top two actresses in my generation. Um, and then Fallout. I mean, it's Fallout. Like it is. It's that universe. Why not watch it? You
Right.
know. So I'm definitely excited. Plus, the game adaptions have been increasingly better and better. Like I'm not
They have
expecting
gotten
Last of
stronger.
Us 2 quality, um, or even Castlevania quality. I'm not expecting that, but they still should be fairly strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't,
They
I
haven't failed me
definitely want
recently.
to
The
see.
Sonic movies were good. The Mario movie
Yeah,
was good. Like
yeah.
they're getting better at it. It's definitely not the '90s where
Mm-mm.
like even the
You know,
Halo show second season has been stronger. And I really didn't
you
have too many complaints about the first one. People would, he takes off his helmet. It's like, yeah, he's still a human being. He wouldn't sit in his helmet all day, but again, that's a
I ain't
whole
gonna
nother.
lie. I like even the bad game movies for
Yeah.
the most part. So or the ones that aren't really great. Like I still like them.
The only one I've been disappointed in recently was like the new Mortal Kombat movie. That thing was hard
Yeah,
to
just
watch.
because I liked it, I just didn't like the fake character that they made us watch. Like you
Yeah,
have
I
this,
didn't understand that.
just
They
tells the
like you
story
still
that
didn't
you're.
make them canon. There's how many characters are actually canon in Mortal Kombat? Like
You could tell
70,
it's
80, and
everybody.
you just make up
Yeah,
a guy. You could have just made
yeah,
that guy any body. You just made up a guy and threw him in the
yeah,
okay, whatever. I didn't understand the logic
yeah.
behind that.
You could have picked. You could told us it from Cassie Cage's point of view, or Jackie, or somebody. You know what I mean? One of the newer characters. Um, but even then, some of the fight scenes, it was cool seeing Scorpion and Sub Zero go at it again.
For sure.
I'm down for that. Always down to watch those guys beat each other up.
Yep. Always good to see
Um,
fire and nice.
segue over to what you're playing. What have you been playing this week?
So I'm
Or second?
currently trying to platinum Dead Island 2. I already 100%ed it on Xbox Series, and it's a really fun game. So I'm trying to platinum it on PlayStation. And then I've
Okay.
also started Soul Hackers 2. Oddly,
Okay,
I'm
cool.
enjoying that a little bit. And I got back into COD and I finished up the Battle Pass for Rainbow Six. Yeah, this is why I don't finish anything. I'm usually got like 3 or 4 things going at once.
Yeah,
But
the
yeah,
live service stuff just.
the live service stuff sucks. Is a time sink, but
Yep.
there it's real quick to get into and get out of real quick. Especially after a day of work. So that's what I've been playing. And I started doing a little bit of stuff in Yakuza Like a Dragon because I enjoy that game as well. But again, RPGs are kind of hard to stick to and finish. So
Uh, I've been on live service in it, so I'm in useless.
yeah, I saw you on Smite the other day. I was like, well, that's the
Yeah,
phase he's in. So
yeah. Trying to get these cross gen skins. Playing it on the Legion is a horrible experience. Uh, something about the way the computer on the computer version of Smite, the menus are mouse and not joystick. So you can download a
so you can't do the FPS mode with the Legion Go.
you
You
can. Oh,
just
you definitely can switch over, and that makes it a lot better. But I want to play Game Boy style.
gotcha.
Yeah, I'm
Tried it on
handheld
your ROG
mouse.
yet?
Same kind of thing. So it feels like it's just you lose the fidelity and frame rate. It feels like it's just better just to play it on the Switch
Mm,
if I'm doing handheld, or to just play it on the Xbox.
gotcha.
Yeah. Um, but Relink. Uh, went back into Harry Potter. I'm just going very slow, but I will get through this game. and then started Tales of Rise again. So I'm pushing through that, trying to get through a bunch of JRPGs so I can finally get to this Final Fantasy VII, uh, the first version, not the
Yeah,
new ones on this.
I
Oh,
was
it is a hope.
only so far through that. I think I literally just finished the first chapter of the first act, and then I just stopped. And it's not because
Yeah,
it's a bad game. It's just again,
lots of games.
I have a vicious backlog, and then I have
Yeah.
I got the Game Pass subscription, and they're always throwing something fire in there, so
Mm-hmm. For
it's kind of
something.
rough to ignore some of this stuff. Like they literally just randomly threw Dead Island 2 in that thing, and it's just like, okay, well, thank God I already conquered all the content for that game to this point, because that would have been something I immediately had to jump on. So
Speaking of backlog, let's add a couple of things to your backlog. Uh, I believe Best Buy and Walmart are discounting PS5 games to a ridiculous level. So if you want physical games, you want to grab those. There's a couple of other games that you guys can check out. We're going to focus on some really great first person kind of experiences right now. Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. Have you heard of this one?
no,
All right, it's in the Tainted Grail series. It is a Arthurian version of kind of like a Skyrim open world RPG.
okay,
Looks really good. Mostly positive reviews on Steam. Going for a if you have Tainted Grail, you can get it for 16.19 or about $18 if you don't have the first Tainted Grail game. Looks really good. Uh, on that same note, and I'm picking this one up as soon as we can finish wrapping up here. Early access game Ripout. Have you heard of this one?
no, I haven't heard of Rip Out. Is that a shooter?
First person shooter, 3D realms, so you know some quality.
Oh,
And
that's one of those what they call them, boomer shooters. Yeah, I think I have heard of that one. Yeah,
this is a online co-op horror first person shooter. Think multiplayer Dead Space in first person.
oh wow. Yes, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to send me the link to that one. That
Yeah, it looks
really
pretty
sounds interesting.
good. It looks pretty good, man. And you know how much I have fun with Witchfinder, so
Right.
those two are definitely ones to look out for. They're currently on sale on Steam. If you want to get some more first person shooter goodness, the entire Far Cry collection is on sale for about $60. You have to buy the
That's
DLC
not a
separate.
bad deal. That includes the one with Giancarlo Esposito in it.
Yep, just none of
Oh
the
yeah,
DLC.
that's
So you have
man,
the DLC is
that's
also on sale.
that's
Yeah.
that's really good, man. Like, let me tell you something. You get that, you will have literally hours of content. I think Fallout, Far Cry 2, Far Cry 5 are like highlights of the franchise, but really you can't go wrong with any of it. And Far Cry 3 is pretty good as well.
Yeah, yeah. 4 was super solid too.
Oh
4 had a
yeah.
lot of DLC though.
Yep.
Um, uh, Borderlands, the uh, a Borderlands collection, the Pandora's Box, once again on sale for about $50.
Really,
And
again, a
that's
really good deal.
stupid. Just everything's in there. Just
Yep.
uh,
I think I actually have that on Steam.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
They gave it away in pieces on Epic Store, so I have it all there.
Hmm.
Um, Crisis Remastered Trilogy, $22.
Solid. No multiplayer, but solid.
No multiplayer, but 3 great games. Uh, Rainbow Six still should be on sale, and
I
sooner
think
or
that
later
was
they're gonna
perpetually
put
on
that.
sale.
Oh yeah. Just like the Fear,
Yeah.
package is always a great one. But yeah, if you're feeling like some first person shooters, check those out. Especially Rip Off. That one looks really, really ridiculous. Also, The Hunt is always on sale at $13. Can't go wrong with that one.
It's a Hunt Showdown.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, that I like watching people who are good at those kinds of games play it.
yeah.
But man, that's a just be forewarned. That one's ain't for the lighter heart. That one's that was tough. That's a really, really, really tough extraction shooter.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Plus, all your friends will be playing probably Helldivers, so you might want to stick with that. I'm just kidding. No, buy the hunt if you want it. Here's a really great deal to me, maybe not to you, but the Prestige collection over at Fanatical. Just some of the games you can pick up in there, 2 for 14 up to 7 for 50 are Blacktail, which I really recommend. This first person uh, shooter slash puzzle game where you play the Baba Yaga. Just really amazing, kind of similar to Senua's Sacrifice in a lot of ways. But also, if you play Witchfinder, you'll be right at home. Dead Link, another great first person shooter. Death Loop, the Ruby Airfail game, which I've only seen as low as like $17 on Steam. Really great uh, Metroidvania there. Beneath Oresa, which is finally gold. I mean, finally, it's actually full release. I'm still a little bit on the fence on this one. I play it. Uh, I'm a big Slay the Spire kind of guy.
Right.
And this one, there's this, I don't know. I got to go back to it. There's something with the polish of it that I like it because it's like combat based, but I feel like, compared to Yomi, I had more fun with Yomi, but I'm going to go back to it.
Okay.
But definitely check out Fanatical. They're always having some great sales, great developer tools at Fanatical and Humble Bundle this week as well, especially for you Unreal 5 developers. So please check that out. Speaking of developers, Game Industry Biz, once again, we're going to go back there. And this is from James Batchelor, the editor in chief. Really great article featuring Ready Player 2's Akua Harris about Black voices in video games. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Show a little love. Let's see here. All right, so let's get to the gossip.
Gossip or news or it's same diff at this point.
Where you want to start?
I do want to point out that one other thing. I've also started Enshrouded this week, or not Enshrouded. I Enshrouded a couple of weeks ago, but I started Nightingale. And that is a very, I haven't gotten very, very far into it at all, but it is a very interesting take on the survival game genre. And that's the side for it. I really don't have anything else to say about it. I haven't played enough to form an actual opinion, but it's interesting, the whole deck of cards changing how the world you live in kind of works. I think that's an interesting take. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What platform are you playing on?
Oh, well, it's only on PC right now, so.
Okay.
Yep. But we can start with something I said needed to happen. There's a couple of things I said that actually ended up becoming true, right? I might want to change my name to the Swami. I don't know.
Swami.
But I would like to start with the first thing I said needed to happen, and it looks like Sony finally got their heads out of their collective butts and are going ahead and doing it. PSVR 2 compatibility with PC. It seems like they're actually trying to save that peripheral from being, nothing. A big nothing burger, right? Sony announced late this week that they are working on getting the PSVR 2 to be compatible with PC. Now, I'm pretty sure this is going to more than likely take some kind of external peripheral.
USB port.
A USB hub or something like that to get it to work, because from what I'm understanding, the input output port that the PSVR 2 uses, which is a USB-C 4, I believe, a lot of NVIDIA graphics cards and AMD graphics cards may not have that port anymore. But or at least more modern ones may not. But I told you and several other people I had conversations with about that device that this needed to happen because, I mean, asking council players to spend $1,100 to play VR games is freaking ludicrous. And somebody has only said, yeah, why don't we try and sell this to PC players? You know, this headset, for all its purposes, is on the level with some of the best PC headsets. Why are we just restricting it to our plastic box? And I guess somebody got the memo. So
Yeah, yeah. I think that's I think we are in some weird timeline where
I'm loving it.
the PC gamers won, and they're getting all the exclusives, and everyone's hardware works with their stuff.
It's the place where it's the place where
Uh,
if you're willing to put up with the quirks of PC gaming, and there are some quirks,
you can have it all.
you can have it all. Like, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
why
cheaper.
shouldn't it get exactly? It's like,
You
dude,
don't have to pay to
that's
put it
where
online or nothing.
that's where it should be. This is the
Or it's
ultimate
getting like
timeline.
free games. You got bundle games that are $20 for 50
Man,
games. Like it's not even fair at this point.
it's not even fair at this point. And then
Yeah.
the other thing that I predicted last week, we talked about how Microsoft's mystery games that
Oh
were coming
yes,
to multi-platform,
it came
and
pretty quick.
it did. It took them just merely another week in
The
Nintendo's
AI
partner
is
conference, and they
AI is doing it.
right and they pushed out their list, and as we pretty much predicted, Hi-Fi Rush was announced for PlayStation. They haven't announced the Switch version yet, but I believe that's a Switch 2 title.
Okay,
They
makes
announced
sense.
Pentiment. They announced Grounded, which is on PlayStation and Switch.
Yes.
And they announced Sea of Thieves for just PlayStation. And again, I think that'll be a Switch 2 title. And Killer Instinct, along with Blast Corps, and it was one other rare game, are actually on
Oh,
the Nintendo Online service. So they didn't put the new Killer Instinct on anything, but they put Killer Instinct on the Switch on an
yeah.
online service. And then again, that's where that franchise started. It definitely should be on there. And I would not be surprised. You can mark my words at Evo this year in, was it August, that you get Killer Instinct announced for the PlayStation 5.
That would be
As it
awesome.
should be.
Yeah. With I mean, I guess it already has a modern control mode, but it has an easy combo mode, which is not the same. But
Right.
I mean, Grounded and Sea of Thieves were kind of no brainers because of the language that they gave us. Plus, those games could only benefit from more people playing. As Killer Instinct, do you think that Halo, the TV show, will ever make it to PlayStation?
Halo, the TV show.
The Halo Infinite. Do you think at least the
Ah,
multiplayer will ever make it
about to say,
to
you could probably
PlayStation?
watch Halo, the TV show, if you get the
Yeah,
Paramount
yeah,
app
yeah.
on PlayStation.
You can already, yeah, I'm saying you can already get your Halo on PlayStation. So you think they'll ever let you get the game?
If it makes, so here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna get on a soapbox for a minute, just if you allow me. Uh, People who know me, people who have conversations with me, they would say that they would say that I'm an Xbox, and really, I don't have any council allegiance. My thing has always been, I don't want Sony or Nintendo or even Microsoft to have such a lead that they feel they can do whatever they want to consumers, because at the end of the day, I've seen the results of you don't have any choices in gaming. Like, we see what Madden has become with no NFL 2K. We see what NBA 2K has become with no NBA Live, right? You see what happens in any industry when your choices are subdued and limited to very few things. If you live in the city we live in, I'm not going to dox us, but there's only like 2 cable companies you can go to, and you see how bad that is. You can attest to that, right? It's
Yeah,
not.
but all cable companies have a non-compete clause, which is like the mafia.
Yeah, it's ran like the mafia. When there's no competition and there's no, well, we got to worry about what they're doing. There's a problem. And what with Microsoft putting all of this stuff everywhere, and I'm pretty sure they're going to pick and choose where they, what shots they take. Again, I'm predicting at Evo, Killer Instinct will be announced for PlayStation and possibly Switch 2, if the Switch 2 is announced by then. I'm pretty sure Hi-Fi Rush is going to be a Switch 2 launch game, actually, along with Persona 3, but that's a whole nother subject. I think it's time for people to stop dismissing Microsoft and listen to what they're saying, because a lot of times what they say is very predictive of what is going to happen in the future. They typically don't, they typically don't say things that don't end up happening, right? Like they tend to know that, this is where the industry is going. They told us digital games were going to be a thing. Digital games are a thing. All these stores are dropping physical. They told us about the AI assistants. Everybody has one now. If you didn't use your Connect because you whined about Connect and it recording your voice and all of this stuff, you got a Amazon device or a Google device. I won't say the name of it because I got one sitting behind me right now, but it's just like, dude, they weren't wrong. You may not like who delivered the message, but they weren't wrong. And they're not wrong about this multi-platform stuff. When Microsoft purchased Activision, outside of the Embracer Group, they literally became the biggest publisher in the world.
Yeah, they were pushing it just after Bethesda.
First or third party, they are the biggest publisher. Like, the only reason the Embracer Group will be considered just as big, IP, if not bigger, is because the vast amount of IP and companies they own. But as far as success combined with size, nobody's touching Microsoft. I don't care how much of a PlayStation fan you are. I don't care how much of a Nintendo fan you are. They made more money than both of them last year. And that's just off the release of Call of Duty last quarter. We're not even talking about Candy Crush or WoW. Like, think about it. These dudes own Doom, Call of Duty, WoW, Candy Crush, and Minecraft, which is the best-selling game of all time.
Yeah.
At that point, why wouldn't you put certain things, if not a multitude of things, everywhere you can to make more money off of it?
I still maintain that they'll have to do it. I think they have to do it if they want to buy bigger things.
And exactly, they're going to buy. They're going to buy more.
Yeah.
And because they're putting their games everywhere, they're going to be able to buy more. That's the point.
Yep.
And they've already, apparently, there's leakings of a not only are they supposedly putting out a discless Series X in the summer, a white Series X, but, leading to the next subject, they apparently have a deal that's a part of a $15 billion deal with Intel to make chips.
I saw that.
Custom chips for them, which means their next device may have some kind of Intel APU on it or CPU on it. And it's like, bro, like, these dudes ain't going nowhere. It's like two or 3 weeks ago, you had people in social media spaces talking about, oh yeah, the Xbox is dead, the brand's dead. Like, no, dude, they are spreading like wildfire.
Microsoft started with Intel with the first Xbox. What was the processor in the 360?
I believe it was.
I know Xbox One was like an off-the-shelf i3 or something.
I think 360 was AMD.
360 was AMD, and so then
don't quote me on that. I know one in series are AMD.
I want to say it was PowerPC or something. I don't know why I want to say it was like
PowerPC was in the Dreamcast, maybe? No.
360 went up against
PS3. and
So
the
3 was Cell.
Wii U. Yeah,
Yeah, I had to Google.
yeah,
But that's interesting that they're back with Intel because that's where they started with.
yeah, man. Like they really are not playing with this whole. We're gonna have games on every screen possible.
Yeah,
Like they're not backing down from anything. Nobody spends $80 billion to say, "Oh yeah, we quit."
yeah.
And
No,
the
it's
fact that people fathom that is hilarious to me. Like nobody spends $80 billion to say, "Oh yeah, they won," because they didn't.
no PC one.
PC won, and
PC
for all intents
two.
and purposes, it's not Microsoft's platform, but they have a strong presence there.
I
It's
think
not
it's going.
exclusively Microsoft's platform. You know, there's Apple PCs, there's Linux-based PCs,
Yeah,
and obviously there's Windows-based PCs. But Microsoft has a strong presence there.
yeah.
So, look,
So
man,
it's
this
Steam
this
OS.
this thing ain't over. It's evolving, and I think you're gonna see more love across the board because, and it'll be organic because these companies need to make more money. Like Helldivers is doing really well.
Yep.
That's a PlayStation, PC simultaneous launch. I would expect to see more of those. Sony again announced this week that they're doing PSVR 2 compatibility with PC because it only makes sense. And the moment they get that done, I think they'll get a boost in unit sales because that thing did not do well on PlayStation 5. Um, they apparently they don't have a big exclusive in any of their franchises coming out until 2025. Don't be surprised if some of those are PS5, PC simultaneous releases, especially the ones in particular that are like live service. So yeah, this is the timeline we live in, man. Get used to it.
Yeah, companies working together.
Yeah.
Uh, hopefully it lasts. We did see a re-release coming soon of this is not video game related, but genre related of the Amalgamverse and collected editions with Jim Lee doing covers again. So it's kind of like,
Really?
hey man, oh yeah, yeah. So those guys can make it work.
I actually like those. Like I think
Oh, they
some
were
people
so
ragged on,
fun.
but they were fun. They
Yeah,
were fun.
they were
I think I still
fun.
have a few of them actually.
Yeah,
So
they're.
I can get a Dark Claw comic book right now, huh?
I think it'll
Batman and
be
Wolverine mixed together.
I think they're doing it as a like collected edition, like the Omnis I get.
Oh man, I might have to check that out. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
yeah. I feel like that's awesome. But I think we can see more of that. I think we'll see more. We've already seen it in going back to fighting games. That market's notorious for the crossover because of Mortal Kombat, Smash Brothers, what they were able to pull off. But
CVS
I'm
3,
love.
please.
Oh yeah,
CVS 3,
yeah.
please. Capcom, come on now.
With minor controls.
With Tekken, throw some Tekken. Like so as an aside, they've done these games on the 3DS, and the first one launched on PlayStation called Cross Zone. And it was this game that had like Sega, Capcom, Namco, just all these characters from all these franchises from those three companies. Just like throw SNK in there. You guys are the old school fighting game / 2D game company. Just make that fighting game happen, man, and make it a live service game and throw characters in. There's room for another fighting game. Why not? I'm just saying. Like I know I'm throwing something out there that
Oh,
probably never happened, but I would love for it to be a
who
thing.
knows with what Fortnite did with their character
Yeah.
library, and like I said, what there's, I wouldn't doubt that League of Legends has a plan to bring in other characters in their game,
It
and
would
they'll
be
have the
smart
money
play.
and ability to do it.
Hmm?
Like if I can play as GI Joes on Smite, you know what I mean, which has what 10th of the budget of League of Legends.
Yeah, and I've recently saw a video. I forget the content creator's name. Forgive me for that, but they made a video about the top 10 best guest characters of all time, and I think Chun-Li and Power Rangers made the list
She's real
as a
good.
guest character in fighting games. So it's like, it definitely needs that cross-zone fighting game needs to happen, and for God's sakes, throw some SNK guys in there. I think I think it's time for a CVS 3, or if not that, then at least get that Tekken Cross Street Fighter going. That get that stuff going again, man. It's been 20 years since the Dreamcast when you were making these dream match style games. It's time to go back to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. I'm excited to watch a little bit more Capcom Cup. See what's going on with that. Um, you said there was an before we started. You said there was another. Oh, Rainbow Six. Tell me about that.
Uh, so Rainbow Six current season, I think is either a little over or under 20 days left. Finished the battle pass for already. Mind you, I only play in unranked mode because I'm casual. I don't have time to get to be good at games like that anymore. But I do enjoy myself a few rounds of Siege on weekends. They got a new character coming out. I think his name is Deimos or something like that. And they've released a whole anime origin story about
What?
where he comes from. Yeah, they do like anime, like 5 or 6 minute anime cartoons about the origins of characters. Then they released like a small gameplay clip of them, snippet of them rather, clip it. And I think this guy has some kind of drone that like paints targets and gives you wall hacks or something. Like he he looks like he's gonna be nasty. And I'm pretty sure by the time we're done with this podcast, his video will be up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's like they're bringing in some of the villain characters that's been popping up in the background story. I think they're bringing in a lot of those into the Rainbow Six roster of characters.
I am so lost on Rainbow Six. I did not even realize that the characters had like this storyline, individual storyline.
So from what I
That it was like cop number one, cop number
no,
two.
so from what my take on it is, when you're playing rounds of Rainbow Six, you're playing in a VR simulation of situations
Oh,
that because they're a big, large international team of specialists who
okay.
handle terrorist threats and things of that nature. And you're basically training every time you do this. You play a match, which is why characters can die and then be back alive the next round, and their bodies disappear. So they have an
Ah,
explanation for all of that. So you're training, but in the background, there's a whole story going. Kind of like how Apex Legends plays out, where it's like none of the characters are really dying because no one you wouldn't want to remove characters from the roster. Oh, they're dead. Remove them from the
it's
roster.
like a
No, you wouldn't want to do.
sport, right, or
It's
something in the
it,
future.
well, it's VR training,
Okay, okay.
right? It's VR training, and but in the background, there's an actual story to follow as to why this character's now on the roster or why this character's doing this. And it's really cool. It started off kind of rough, but they've over the course of I think it's 9 or 10 years now the game's been out, they've really cleaned it up and gotten it in good shape. And it's a good game. You got content creators like Jinxie and Pueblo, guys who are really good at the game, or really good at getting community focused around the game, that have made it relevant again because it kind of went through
That's
a
pretty
lull
cool.
for a while. So yeah, it's a solid game if you can deal with the fact that realistic damage, sometimes cheat tactics, but this it's a shooter, so what do you expect?
Does the ongoing storyline ever kind of tie directly back into like Titanfall 2 storyline or anything like that?
You talking about Apex?
Yeah.
It's yes. There's a guy who I believe's in there who was a pilot. I haven't played Apex in like a year or so, but there's a guy in there who's one of the pilots from like the first or second game.
Huh.
Yeah, he's in there, or he's related to one of the pilots. I think it might be way further ahead, but I believe Valkyrie is the daughter of one of the former Titanfall pilots, and I forget the other guy's name, but he was a Titanfall pilot, and he's in the game. So
That's interesting. I want to see like why is there so much emphasis on virtual training versus virtual pilot training? Like, if they abandoned
the
the
virtual training
Titans.
is Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, okay.
Apex, I think
Apex.
they just clone those guys or something. I don't know how they
Oh,
explain
those are
death
like
on
real
them.
people getting killed in
Yeah, I think they just
'84.
clone them. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's
super
horrible.
futuristic. So yeah, it's pretty horrible. Like Borderlands. You know, they keep cloning
Yeah,
guys.
we
Helldivers
do.
even touches that. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
send another guy with the same suits, same guys. You know, we just copied his DNA before he left. So
that always makes me think of Stargate when they just kept bringing Apophis back, killing him, bringing him back. And they had enough. I forget what they were called. Worm people. They had enough of his shenanigans. They just kept killing him, bringing him back. These little sarcophagus, just to kill me again. All right. Well, I think was there anything else that we missed?
um, I think I wanted to touch on the Nintendo Direct. Did you
Okay.
catch
Yeah.
that?
Yes. I did not catch it. But I did catch like a recap of it.
It was pretty solid. It was a third party partner
I love
direct.
those.
Obviously, they opened up with Grounded, and you know they went ahead and
Oh
announced
wow.
the myriad of rare games they were getting, and they also obviously revealed Pentiment. But I think the biggest surprise of that show for me personally was the fact that Battlefront Collection, the original Battlefront by the original X Dice developers, I forget their name, but they also made the Mercenary games back in the day. That game is coming back with full 64 player online for PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Um, if for many of you who may not be in the know, this is the original Battlefront. It existed obviously before the current ones that EA's made. Um, but it was one of those games that got shut down when GameSpy got shut down. So you couldn't play multiplayer online anymore because
Because
the
it wasn't
GameSpy, yeah,
there.
that big GameSpy shutdown that happened. I thought, man, was it over a decade ago? And it was a bunch of games on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation that were using GameSpy for their multiplayer servers. And when they shut that down, they essentially killed an entire franchise's whole multiplayer modes, right? And Battlefront, the original was it THQ that published it? No, it was LucasArts that published it. The original Battlefront was one of those games that was subsequently killed by the closing down of GameSpy. And Aspire, and I believe they're owned by the Embracer Group, brought this game back from the dead, and it's got 64 player multiplayer. It's $30 for both games. I believe they've
Nice.
included all of the DLC, and they've included uh three, maybe two characters. I know you could play as Kit Fisto in Battlefront 2, the original Battlefront 2, and they added somebody else. And it's like, I think this is really awesome that they're bringing this back. I hope that whatever else they might have the rights to, that was a victim, unfortunate victim of the whole GameSpy shutdown. I hope they bring some of that stuff back too. But I thought that was pretty cool to see that they were doing that. And they're doing it for all platforms. I don't know if it has crossplay, but the fact that they're doing it is pretty cool.
Ooh. I think it's first was it 64 players.
Six. The original ones were only 24 players on Xbox and PS2.
Okay.
So the fact that the PC version obviously was 64 players back in the day, but I think now all versions, even the Switch version, is 64 players.
Oh yeah,
So
I hope they have cross plat if they're going to have big maps to support that many people.
yeah, because I don't know, like, and on the one hand, I think it's awesome that you got a whole generation of people who are gonna get to play it again. But I don't know how many people. Like, the only concern I have with it is how many people are going to want to play it when EA's very beautiful current Battlefront already exists.
Yeah, for
Especially
like five
Battlefront 2 is a
dollars.
gorgeous game. Yes, gorgeous
it's,
game.
it's
But
always on sale.
you're
Perpetually
going
on sale.
exactly. But there's a lot of people who, like myself, who really love that game, and I want to buy it day one just to support it, but I'm kind of hesitant. I want to see what the numbers are going to be on it first before I buy it. You know what I'm saying? But I hope it does well, and I'm willing to support it because I love the new EA ones. Especially after they've got rid of the pay to win stuff. But I really love that game. That game was
It was
amazing.
really
You
fun.
you started off
It
with
was
all
really
the
fun.
weapons. You started off with all the characters. You didn't have to unlock anything. This is back when you just got on and started playing. and you played the way you wanted to.
Finally getting your Jedi in game is such a awesome like perk
Yeah.
kind of feeling. Like they all feel really powerful. I didn't play as the Mandalorians too much. I always went for a Jedi. Typically Yoda. That's my guy. All right. Well, I didn't have anything. There was definitely a ton of stuff in the news. We just nothing really caught my eye this week. The Nvidia stock situation is always interesting. Watching them slowly take over the world.
Yeah, they did really well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, wait till the Switch 2 is announced.
The
Oh boy.
corporate, the corporate kind of comments about quantum computing hacks. It was super terrifying, right? If you guys didn't get to read that, just check out Forbes about it. It is insane. That and more information on the AI video features are just crazy. But other than that, nothing really that I was super focused on this week. Hopefully, there's some really good, just good news.
But we're heading into conference season.
Oh yeah.
So things are going to pick up. I believe Matt Booty during that Microsoft Business update said they had 10 big games coming this year, and we know of about at least 6 or 7. So 3 more are being announced. Fingers crossed. One of them is the Marcus Phoenix collection. Would love to play Gears 1, 2, and 3 again, remastered, maybe in Unreal Engine 5. Hint, hint. That would be cool.
I'm just hoping they announce a Sea of Thieves expansion that lets you play as Matt and Sarah as pirates, and the title is The Bond of Booty. It is like pirates.
That is absolutely ridiculous. That is absolutely absurd.
It'll be amazing.
And on that note, I bid you all farewell. We will see you next week. And any closing thoughts?
Keep your head up, chin up, chest out. It gets better. That's it.
Okay. My closing thoughts, as always, is just enjoy your games and, touch grass. Because, fighting over frivolous stuff is a waste of time. Trust me, it ain't worth it.
Oh, I thought you meant touch grass because of the new Bob Marley movie.
No.
All right.
No. I'm trying to get in that kind of trouble. All right, guys. That's the show for this week. Have a good one, and we will see you in another 7.
All right. Peace.
Peace.